When ablution is recommended, there are a number of points here mentioned, and recommendation means that if you do it, you're rewarded. If you don't do it, then there's no sin upon you. So number one, when you remember Allah Azza wa Jal, when you recite the Quran without touching it, it is recommended that you are to be in the state of wudu. And we know that Bilal, may Allah be pleased with him, used to always be in the state of wudu, and this is why the Prophet told him alayhi salatu wasalam, that I kept on hearing your flip-flops in front of me in Jannah when I went there. Why was that? And he said, because whenever I break my wudu, I perform my wudu and I see that I have to pray 2 rak'ahs voluntary for Allah Azza wa Jal. But we don't mandate this. We don't say it's mandatory, because the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, as in the hadith of I think Ali ibn Abi Talib, كان يذكر الله على جميع أحوانه خلال الجنابة, that the Prophet ﷺ used to remember Allah Azza wa Jal on all his ways and means, in all statuses, and nothing would prevent him except when he's in the state of janaba. So he used to remember Allah Azza wa Jal even if he was not in the state of wudu. This would not prevent him from doing that, but it's best to be in the state of purity. Number two, it is recommended to perform wudu for every prayer. Now this is not mandatory, because we know that the Prophet once alayhi salatu wasalam prayed Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib and Isha with the same wudu. And when he was asked, why are you doing this? He said, I don't want to burden my ummah. So if he were to order us to perform wudu for every salat, that would probably be difficult for some of us. But if I prayed Asr, and soon after is Maghrib, and soon after is Isha, and my wudu is intact, why would I pray? Why would I offer a new wudu? Especially when it's cold. There's no need for that. So it is not mandatory, but is it recommended? The answer is definitely. Why? Because with every wash, with every drop that falls from your face, from your arms, from your feet, Allah Azza wa Jal erases the sins that you've committed with these organs. So definitely it is means of purification. Number three, a person who is in the state of major ritual impurity. So if a person is in the state of major ritual impurity, janaba, and he would like to go for a second round after reloading, or he wants to drink or eat, or even go to a shop and buy something and come back, but he's in the state of major ritual impurity, it is recommended to break it up a little bit by performing wudu. And this was instructed by the Prophet ﷺ, especially when it comes to having intercourse again without having a bath. This is recommended because it makes you fresher, as the Prophet said ﷺ. Number four, the sunnah is to perform wudu whenever you are performing ritual, major ritual purity, ghusl. So the sunnah, as the mothers of the believers narrated, that the Prophet used to wash his hands 3 times before entering it into the bucket of water. Then he washes his private part. Then he washes his hands with the soil so that removes any impurity. Then he puts he performs his wudu of salat. He performs his wudu as if he is performing it for salat. Then he put 3 scoops of water over his head, ensuring it reaches the scalp and then the rest of his body. So this is a sunnah which should be followed. Number 5, before going to bed, and this is backed by the hadith of Bara bin Azib, that the Prophet told him, whenever you want to go to bed, perform wudu, and then place or lie down on your right hand side and say the dua. So performing wudu before going to bed is a highly recommended sunnah. It ensures that there's an angel seeking forgiveness for you throughout the night, and that when you wake up and say the prescribed dua and make dua, you say the prescribed dhikr and make dua, Allah would answer your dua, inshaAllah.